What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the Packerman, and welcome to tonight's edition of The Fuel. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. I have everything already set up here because, quite frankly, I'm not in the mood to cover this fucking race because it was absolute fucking garbage. And you're probably wondering, why are you so late to doing the Texas review? Because, as you can see, covering the Auto Trader Echo Park 500, although I called it the Who Gives a Shit 500 because really, who gives a shit? 119th edition of The Fuel. The title of the episode is Texas Size Trash Can because that's what this fucking race was, as far as I'm concerned. And I'll get into the details in this review. But some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, I'm going to save for the Kansas review, which I'll probably do tomorrow evening. And if you're wondering why I've been so late to do the Texas review, number one, I haven't been much of a mood to do it. But number two, it's been an extremely busy week between my 9-to-5 job and then doing CorksCon 2021. I was actually a vendor there, which I actually have footage of, and that'll be on the channel at some point in the near future. It's just been a really hectic week this week for me, and I was just not in much of a mood to cover the Texas race, and also I'm not really in much of a mood to cover Formula One for the rest of the year. So instead of reviews, it'll just be debriefs. If you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. I'm just completely burnt out on doing motorsports reviews. I think I've done way too many, honestly, this year between Formula One and NASCAR. So I think I'm just going to go back just covering Cup Series for 2022. I think that's more than enough. That's damn near 40 races anyways. You know what I mean? So, obviously Larson won his 8th race of 2021. And like I said, F1 coverage will just be debriefs from this point forward till the end of the year. Because I just not interested in doing this shit anymore. And at least Formula One reviews. Obviously I still like doing, NASCAR. It's just I don't feel like covering this fucking race, so let's just get right into it. Cat, get off my notes. So this piece of shit race saw Bowman, Justin Haley, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Corey LaJoie, Garrett Smithley, David Starr, and Cody Ware all have to start from the rear of the field due to inspection issues. Stage 1 was 105 laps. Kyle Larson starts from the pole. Hamlin drops back a bit. I don't know what the hell the cats are doing back there. Battle for 5th between Hamlin, Byron, Kez, Truex, and Reddick. Then we got our first caution on lap 26, which was the competition caution. Everyone comes in for service. Byron wants to race off pit road with just 2 tires. Kyle Busch gets caught speeding on pit road. Byron led on the restart, but then we had our second caution on lap 32. We had big junk on the backstretch. Bubba Wallace got loose off turn 2 and basically collects like 12 cars. Chastain was involved, as well as Stenhouse, Bowman, Priest, of course Wallace, Joey Gase, Cody Ware, Justin Haley, Ryan Newman, Almirola. They were all involved in the crash. Kyle Busch, Cole Custer, and Anthony Alfredo also received some minor damage. Several drivers come in for a splash of fuel. Byron leads on the restart. Truex and Byron were side by side for the race lead, and we had our first pure lead change on lap 41, with Byron taking the lead. Reddick was up to 2nd and DiBenedetto up to 3rd at this point. Larson moves up to 4th on lap 58. Elliott up to 5th on lap 59 after starting from the rear. Larson gets by Hamlin for 3rd, then by Reddick for 2nd, and then challenges Byron for the race lead and takes it on lap number 83. There was some fuel mileage for those who pit on the lap 32 caution, maybe an issue if they are trying to make it to the end of the stage, because stage points. We had a battle for 3rd between Reddick, Hamlin, and Elliott. Austin Dillon kicks off green flag stops on lap number 92. I don't know why that's popping up. Larson pits from the lead on lap 95. Kyle Busch stays out and inherits the lead, trying to make it to the end of the stage. Blaney was also trying to save enough fuel to make it to the end of the stage, and Kyle Busch wins stage number 1. Everyone on the lead lap pits under this break, and Kyle Busch wins the race off pit road. So now we come to stage 2, which was 105 laps. Kyle Busch leads the start of stage 2. Larson with a run under Busch for the race lead, and he takes it. for a third pure lead change on lap 117. And that is the last anyone would see of the lead. And I'll explain here in a minute. Byron challenges Kyle Busch for second, with Reddick coming into the fray for second as well. Battle for fourth between Reddick, Harvick, and Blaney. Elliott pits on lap 154 for a loose wheel. Fortunately, it's halfway through the stage. We get a third caution on lap 166 for debris on the track. All 11 cars on the lead lap at this point. Yes, only 11 cars. Pit under this caution. Larson wins the race off pit road. So Larson leads on the restart. Kyle Busch was falling back a bit on the restart. Kez, Blaney, Harvick, Kurt, and Kyle Busch were fighting for third, and Larson just edges out Byron for the stage 2 win. Everyone comes in for service, and Larson wins the race off pit road once again. Now, at this point in the race, this race wasn't spectacular by any stretch of the imagination, but at this point I was like, okay, this has actually been pretty okay-ish. I'm not going to say it was okay or even good. I'm just going to say it was okay-ish at this point. I was like, yeah, it'll probably just be, a forgettable race and we'll move on. Then this third stage came along and it turned into a fucking shit fest. So, third stage, 124 laps. Larson leads the start of stage 3. Kurt Busch with a possible tire issue as Blaney gets loose in turn 4. And it turned out to be a loose wheel for Kurt. Harvick up to third behind the two Hendrick boys. Harvick challenges Byron for second. The battle for third between Harvick, Keselowski, and Blaney. Reddick up to fifth on lap 244, and then we have a long lull in action. Yawn. Then we have our fourth caution on lap 275 when Briscoe smacks the wall of turn 4 and causes the right rear tire to cut down. Of course, he might have been pushed up there by Hamlin, and those two have already had history. And of course, they got into it on I can't remember if it was Snapchat or Instagram, but obviously the feud between those two isn't done. Everyone comes in for service, and Larson wins the race off pit road, so he leads on the restart. Reddick trying to challenge for second, but gets loose in turn 4. Lots of shuffling in the top 10. Hamlin not giving anybody any room off of turn 4, pushing Logano up the track, so he pisses him off. Keselowski and Reddick trying to catch Larson and Byron for the lead, and this is when the shit show really starts to go into high gear. We had our fifth caution on lap 300 when Logano blows an engine in turn 2. Nothing that really Logano's doing, but, then we have that saying, cautions breed cautions. Half the field comes in for service. Larson leads on the restart with 30 laps to go. Then our sixth caution on lap 304. Kyle Busch nudges the 17 of Buescher in turn 1, but Buescher manages to save it. But then behind him, Briscoe gets into Anthony Alfredo, trying to dodge the 17, and the 38 slams the outside wall hard, which causes a fire from fluid leakage. Don't know if the fuel cell busted or if it was the oil pan or whatever the case may be, but it caused quite a fire underneath the 38 car. So there was a red flag to clean up the mess, so great. We have to wait even longer for this fucking shit-ass race to end. Larson leads on the restart with 25 laps to go. Hamlin pushes through to fourth on the restart, but slides up the track in turn 1. There's contact between Blaney and Hamlin, causing a tire rub on the 11. Reddick gets by Byron for second. Then we have our seventh caution on lap 314. Hamlin finally loses the left rear tire and spins off of turn 2. So Larson leads on the restart with 16 laps to go. Byron and Reddick were fighting hard for second. Then we have our eighth caution, just one after the other, on lap 320. When Daniel Suarez taps the 19 in the left rear, and Truex overcorrects and nearly goes head-on into the turn 4 wall, completely destroying the 19 car and putting him out of the race. This was turning into a shit show at this point. Larson leads on the restart with 9 laps to go. Harvick nearly turns the 8, but Reddick hangs on to it. Reddick and Byron make contact, racing for second. Then we have our 9th caution on lap 328. Chris Buescher and Chase Briscoe hit the turn 2 wall, and the 17 comes across the 11 of Hamlin, which spins the 17 out, and it causes major damage to the front of the 11 car. So if you're counting at home, that's 6 caution flags in the third stage alone. So Larson leads on the first green-white checker. Thankfully, it was the only one. He basically gets out to a pretty good gap, and nobody's able to touch him. And Kyle Larson wins at Texas and punches his ticket to the championship 4. He led the final 218 laps of this race. This race was fucking trash. I'm just gonna be pretty blunt here. So let's go through some stats real quick, just to kind of back up my point. It was a 334 lap race. Stages were 105, 105, 124. Let's go with the pure lead change count first, for once. There were 3 pure lead changes, which to this race's credit was actually more than the Charlotte Road Course. And you might be thinking, well, that's pretty good, right? Wait do you see the overall lead change count? There were only 8 lead changes the entire race. Once Larson took the lead on lap 117, that was all she wrote. Nobody was able to get by him for the final 218 laps of this race. Not to mention the fact that there were 9 fucking caution flags in this race, including a red flag. And then you look at the green flag passes, 1,624. You might think, well, that's pretty good, right? Except for the fact that the Charlotte Road Course had twice as many in a shorter race. Which means that the average for this race was 5.8 per lap. Per green flag lap. While not the lowest of the year, that's pretty damn crap. So, Texas Motor Speedway fucking sucks. I'm just going to say that right now. Race results. Kyle Larson with the win. William Byron comes home in 2nd. Christopher Bell in 3rd. Brad Keselowski 4th. Kevin Harvick in 5th. Rest of the top 10, you had Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, and Daniel Suarez putting in the effort to get a top 10 finish. Point standings. Kyle Larson, the only one locked in, heading into Kansas, which I'll probably review tomorrow. And you have Ryan Blaney in 2nd, Denny Hamlin 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th. And then the rest of the guys who are on the outside looking in, Chase Elliott at -8, Brad Keselowski at -15, Martin Truex Jr. at -22, and Joey Logano at -43 after his engine failure. As for my final rating for this race was fucking garbage. It gets a 1 on the fuel gauge. I don't even fucking care. I thought about it more and more as the week went on. I realized this race was fucking trash. Of course, there was probably other reviewers that were singing its praises for the chaos. You know, like Black Flags Matter gave it a rare W because of the chaos. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, if I wanted to watch a fucking demolition derby, I'd go to a demolition derby. I don't want it in my fucking NASCAR racing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I have different fucking standards than some other people out here. Fucking ridiculous. But anyways, that's going to do it. I'm done with this fucking review. This race can eat a dick. Easily the weakest race of the playoff run so far, and one of the worst of the season. Fuck this race. I'm done talking about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow night for the Kansas review. Thank you for watching tonight's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, you rats!